So this is going to be the January 2022 edition of what I've been writing with lately. This is the video in which I talk about the pens and pencils that I've been using this month. These aren't full reviews or endorsements or anything like that. These are just the stuff that's been on my desk. So we'll get right into it. I made a few different purchases over the past 30, 45 days or so, and I have some of the new stuff here. So I've been testing those out, and I've been using them not super thoroughly, but enough to give them, go through their paces with them. The first of them is this. This is a Jetstream 3. It's a new Uniball or Uni Jetstream pen. It's Japan only for now, 0.5, 0.7 millimeter, 3-color pen. Comes in a bunch of cool body colors. It has this cylindrical shape. Pretty plain. You got some little, some texture down here and some faceting, but it's a 3-color pen, and the black is here. It's a normal button. So just a kind of interesting design, a new take on the Jetstream. I don't have a ton to say about it yet. It's the refills we've seen before. It's a new body shape, but it's really just kind of a slight variant on the Jetstream. So it's fun, not a whole lot to say. If you like Jetstreams, it's probably worth picking up. Has the cool sort of minimalist body. But past that, it's just a normal Jetstream. And if you have the Jetstream 3, the slim, that's my favorite one. I wouldn't really say it improves on the formula at all. This right here, I've been trying to put a lot of time into these. This is the Pentel Calme. This is sold as a 3-color pen and a single color pen. And it's sort of Zebra's take on the, it's sort of Pentel's take on the Zebra blend. I've been using these for over a month now, and a longer video about them is well overdue. But I've been kicking the tires. It's a fun pen. They're not really made particularly well, so while I really like the idea, I've had some problems with them. You can see this kind of weird loose cap is just sort of one sign, clip. This weird loose clip is one sort of sign of just sort of how the pen, even though it has some really strong things about it, and I like the idea, I've had some real problems with this line, especially considering it's only, I think came out in November or so of last year. This is a brand new series of pens, and yeah, mixed feelings. So expect a review on these shortly, but I have been using them and really kind of getting my thoughts together. This, for the record, is the 0.7 millimeter, sorry, the 0.5 millimeter. I haven't been able to pick up any of the 0.7 millimeters. You can see that ink there. It's kind of a light color. Definitely doesn't pop against the Jetstream. These two here, I've been using them a little bit, not a whole ton, but I did want to mention them because I had a few videos about the Sarasa Nano. I would say this is one of the pens I was looking forward to the most last year. Came out at the end of the year. Really cool addition to the Sarasa family. Comes in that 0.3 millimeter size. So this is a really thin little gel pen. Kind of a sort of a nice competitor to the Uni 1F and some of the other skinny pens we've seen, maybe the Jetstream Edge, which is a ballpoint, but also very skinny. The Nano came out in a bunch of standard colors, your green, blue, red, what have you. It also came out in the vintage colors. I think I had forgotten to mention this in some of my initial videos, but I did pick it up in some of the vintage colors, and I have been using them. The pens are the same. There's really no differences between this except the body color and the ink color are the same. I haven't really found any of the vintage colors that I would love. I bought a brown, which is kind of boring. And then this is a, I don't know what this is, kind of a yellowish brown, a auburn, something like that. But this one has actually surprisingly good legibility. I've been using it a fair bit. I don't usually buy brown ink, and I definitely don't buy like light brown ink, but this one's pretty good. It has, like I said, some good legibility, better than an orange, sort of an orange shade. And it's definitely an interesting pen color. I wouldn't say I have any other pens this shade, and definitely barely even pen bodies this shade. So fun addition, and Sarasa has done a really nice job, or Zebra's done a really nice job with the Sarasa vintage subset of the pens. So I guess the vintage subset of the Sarasa line. So I was happy to pick this one up, even though it's not really like a mainstream user for me. So this pen right here is called the Fisher Space Pen. This is the clutch. This is sort of their heavy duty, sort of like everyday carry type pen. Maybe it's designed for people wearing gloves. In their literature, they say it's designed for people on oil derricks, so working on oil derricks, which I guess means a dirty or slippery environment, and probably you have gloves on. For me, it's just a heavy duty, cool looking, kind of industrial pen. Works really well. It is pretty heavy. I think it's like 35-ish grams. I don't have the numbers in front of me. These things are kind of hard to find on sale. If you have to find them retail, it's pretty expensive, like $35, $40. You can find them on eBay now and then though, if you are patient enough. This thing uses the standard Fisher Space Pen pressurized refill. But for this specific one, I took out that Fisher Space Pen refill and I put in a Jetstream. This is the, I believe, the SXR-10. And so this is a really wide 1.0 millimeter ballpoint refill. You can see this refill doesn't have a spring stop, so you have to tape the spring to the refill, which is actually, it's kind of hacky, but it actually works really well. And doing that, you could use a standard Jetstream refill in this pen. If you're using this pen outside in any sort of adverse conditions, very hot, very cold, very wet, very muddy, what have you, you definitely want to keep that standard Fisher Space Pen refill in there. I've just been using it at my desk, so I really like the Jetstream refill. It's a ballpoint refill, but it's very smooth. And I've talked many times about how much I enjoy the Jetstream 1.0 millimeter refill. So now, instead of having it in this pen, this very standard Jetstream Sport, which I've used, this is one of my most used pens of all time. This just kind of standard plastic Jetstream Sport body. Took the refill out of this. This one will go into retirement cabinet for now. And I have that refill in the Fisher Space Pen clutch. Very different writing instrument, but a lot of fun to use. And the wider, smoother refill makes it a little bit more enjoyable to use at the desk. If you ever want to take it back outside or use it under normal ballpoint conditions, those Fisher Space Pens, they could sit out in your desk for, for years and years, and they'll be totally fine. I have it right in this drawer right here, and it's good to go whenever I need it. On the fountain pen front, I've been mainly focused on the Lamy 2000. Kind of had one of these for a while, got rid of it, and recently picked another one up. I went down from a medium to a fine, and I've really been enjoying this pen. I think the Lamy 2000 is a pen I personally have had mixed opinions on, but I've been enjoying it lately. I'm not sure how long that'll last, but for now, the fine Lamy 2K, that L2K, is a fun pen to use. Definitely has some shortcomings in its sweet spot, and its grip is not always my favorite, especially in the winter months when your hands are kind of feeling drier and everything feels a little bit more slippery. It's not an ideal pen for then, but I do like the pen. I like how it writes. I like how well behaved it is and how good looking it is. So it's a pen I find myself reaching for a lot, just because it's definitely a good pen, but there's some quirks about it that I just kind of think through, I guess. I don't know. Lamy 2000, fun pen and definitely worth trying. This is another one of my all-time favorites that I just keep going back to. This is called the Stabilo PointVisco. I have it in a fine. It's a 0.5 millimeter, but that's like a 0.5 millimeter like line width, as opposed to the tip width, which that Stabilo measures it a little bit differently. So it actually writes wider than that, I guess is my point. It's a skinny pen. and it writes a whole lot like a fine liner or a marker, even though I think it's technically a hybrid. And yeah, it has a wet, smooth ink. You can see when it writes, it has a little bit of sheen to it, and that's the ink, you know, prior to drying out. It takes a second to dry, so it's putting down a lot of ink like a rollerball. But again, I don't think it's technically a rollerball. I'm not really sure. It's not a pen I've done a lot of research about. I just bought a pack of these a while back, and I just find myself using them a whole lot for just general note-taking and day-to-day, kind of just have a pen with you around the house. Has really nice colors, very smooth, comfortable, because even though it's long, it has a rubberized grip. It's such a strange looking pen. I think I find myself like oddly, really, I like how it looks, even though it's sort of bizarre. It's colored like a pencil. It has this weird little cap that's has these strange facets here, and it's not flat, and it posts, but it doesn't post very well. And it has this crazy little clip and this swoopy top. I have no idea what was going on with this pen when they designed it, but I do find that I really like it. I think Stabilo makes extremely high quality products, and almost all their stuff I buy is like quirky, and it doesn't really make sense to me. And I don't know what PointVisco means, but I really do enjoy most of their products. So I bought a 5-pack of these, and I've been working my way through them. I'm up to green. Definitely one of my favorites, and a pen I just keep reaching for. I don't know. This is one I've been playing with. This, I think a lot of people recognize, is a Pilot Juice Up in the 0.4 millimeter. So the Pilot Juice Up is kind of like the next generation of the Pilot G2, which the Pilot G2 became in a sort of art series, the Juice, and the Juice Up, I guess, over time became, sorry, the Juice, and the Juice over time became the Juice Up. I'm not sure that, you know, all of them still exist, so it's not a really clear lineage like that. But in my head, you have the G2, and then the next came the Juice, and the next came the Juice Up. Very cool looking pen, sort of that faux carbon fiber matte pattern there, rubberized grip, metal writing tip. The Juice Up has this design, this sort of modern design with the integrated clip for a while now. This one is, I think this is a new color for 2021, or maybe even early 2022. No, I guess it would have been late 2021. And you can see it has a sort of a faux needle tip design, and 0.4 millimeter, so it's nice and skinny. It's a gel pen. I believe it uses a pigmented ink. And I think what happened at the end of last year was they came out with a bunch of new colors. I can't recall exactly why I bought this one, but it was a new edition, and I think it has like a slightly shimmer or sparkle ink to it. And that's probably what it was. Maybe the Juice Up finally came out with a sparkle or shimmer ink. I honestly, I don't buy a lot of sparkle ink, but anytime the Juice Up or Pilot comes up with a special edition, I tend to pick it up, especially when it's something like this, where you could pick up the pen for like, you know, $2 or $3, just throw it on the end of an order I was going to do anyway. And I really like this color. You know, I could do without the sparkle. Actually, and it doesn't bother me actually, but I don't need the sparkle, but I do like this sort of dark green color. It sort of reminds me of some of Pilot's, the Irishizuku fountain pen inks that are sort of really nice natural colors, and they have some cool greens that haven't made their way to their Juice lines. Usually the Juice and the Juice Up are like more bright colors, like a marker type colors, less natural. Now we see a nice natural green with this Juice Up. As far as pencils go, I've been using the Orenz Nero from Pentel a fair bit. I had run out of 0.3 millimeter ink, graphite rather, and I was trying to use this, and I was out of graphite, so I bought some more. I bought the Pentel Ain. I bought a multi-pack of these. It was like HB, 2B, B, 3B, whatever. I've been settling on this 2B. It's a fun little refill. This is pretty good ink. I guess not refill, it's a fun little graphite pack with this twisty action, which is, I will say, downright addictive if you fidget with things. But so now I have the Orenz Nero working again, and I've been really thinking through this pencil a lot, which I love the design. Just one of my all-time favorites as far as mechanical pencils go. And I like the automatic writing on it. And I've just come to the conclusion that 0.3 millimeter is too skinny for me. Especially when you go to an HB or something, or a 2B, where the lead is getting a little bit more brittle. You can keep the lead basically invisible. Like, it's so short that's barely even there. That's one of the advantages of an automatic pencil like this Orenz Nero. But I still, if I do click it out, sometimes I'm not thinking, I don't let it do its work, its automatic work, I will always break the lead. And I've come to the conclusion that 0.5 millimeter is the sweet spot for me for mechanical pencils. So I'm a little bummed out with when I bought this, the 0.5 millimeter Orenz Nero had not yet been released. It's available now. So I have to decide if I want to go ahead and buy one of them. It costs about $25, give or take. So it's a fairly significant investment if you already have an Orenz Nero, but I will get more use out of the 0.5. Lastly, I've been using this. I don't really use desk pens. They're kind of old-fashioned, something you'd find at a bank from 20 years ago or whatever. But I randomly picked this one up a couple months ago on eBay. It's from a company called Lenox, L-E-N-O-X, and I wasn't overly familiar with what they made or their different pens and stuff, but some were very good looking. So the first one I picked up was this one. I got a really good deal on it. And this is the Lenox Desk Pen. You can see it's very long, the way desk pens are. I don't know why that is. So I guess usually they have a chain on them and you don't want someone to steal it, so you make it long. It has a little desktop holder, which was nice. And this works with any pen or pencil. It doesn't have to be this Lenox, but it's really nicely made, aluminum. You can see this is the Lenox Design Lenox Studio and the Scribbaloo, something like that. I don't know if that's the model or something they just write on the bottoms of things, but this is nicely made. It's nice and heavy. It is I would say it's aluminum, probably with some weighting in there, maybe a piece of brass or who knows what. It does have some rubber here, so you're not scratching up your pens. And then you get this desk pen. This has a full-size rollerball refill in it. The refill I got with it didn't work, unfortunately, so I can't really speak to how Lenox pens are writing these days, but I did put in this really great refill. This is an Otto ceramic. This is the 0.5 millimeter. It's called the C310. Oh, sorry, it's a 1.0 millimeter. Yeah, the C310. The C305 would be the more popular one. That's the 0.5 millimeter. And so it's a full-size European or Japanese style rollerball refill, and it goes in this. So that's actually one of the nicer parts about this pen, is that I get to use one of those full-size rollerball refills. I find that fewer and fewer of the pens I'm getting have those, so whenever I have an excuse to use them, it's fun to use. This one looks like it's on the way out. But yeah, so that's let's just look at it in comparison to a kind of standard pen. You can see it's a good 2 inches longer. It doesn't have a roll stop or whatever, so it's always, if you put it down, it just wants to go back into its little pen holder there. Nothing to help your grip here, no rubber or faceting or anything like that. So I find it to be a little slippery and hard to use, and it's a fun pickup. I think Lenox seems to be making fairly nice pens based on this very small sample size. So I'll be looking out for their stuff in the future, but this was just something I took a flyer on because it was, randomly found it. So there you go. Those are the pens and pencils that I've been using in January 2022. Thanks for watching.